I'd like to now introduce a gentleman who's been really instrumental in moving all of this forward, Ted Giovannis. Ted Giovannis is the president of the Jane Koskinas Ted Giovannis Foundation for Health and Policy, and as we greatly appreciate his support here at the Bipartisan Policy Center in our work around medical innovation, and he's going to offer some closing insights around what we heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. I'm going to take a slightly different twist on this, and I know some of the people that know me are saying, "Oh my God, what is he going to say now?" But I thought I'd do this, just frame the issue as there's three things you need to do anything. You need to have an idea. You need to be able to develop that idea into something that can be done, and then you have to execute it. Three things. Or you can look at it as this way: vision, concept, implementation, or process. Organizations like the FDA are generally in the process area. They're in the implementation stage. And that's where you do get into that nettlesome issue that Mark mentioned about status quo, muscle memory. There is regulatory muscle memory because we get bogged down in what we have been doing and what we do. And sometimes we're resistant to change. So another takeaway that you should have heard is, one, the RTCs are not as big as you think they are. They are not these large-scale randomized trials with tons and tons of patients. And so what is happening, you may be laboring under a misnomer about. That's why you hear these folks when all of the speakers pretty much touched on whether the gold standard is really the gold standard. That's where you get into that. In our work at our foundation, what we have started to see more than anything is collaboration is key. Collaboration of disciplines, of minds, of data. And that's why you hear the report talk about transparency of data and the availability of data. The more data that becomes available, you can have more minds doing work on those. Sometimes in the academic environment, we tend to say mine and don't share our data. There have been analytic issues with data. That's why we run into issues with replicability. So what we're doing by real-world evidence, if you scale the data, David Madigan mentioned it, Marcus mentioned it, if you have larger scale with millions of patients, but you balance this desperate kind of data from these varying inputs with mathematics, and that's what Madigan was talking about. And trust me, I know the only person in the room, I think, that raised their hand was our foundation's executive director of research. He's a mathematician. So we get it. And we've been dealing with this for a long while. And the foundation, our foundation, has moved into the use of mathematical modeling and trying to come out with clinical outcomes. Mathematics, if you do them right, are a more efficient way than doing all these clinical trials. And you can have you can do it on a computer. I know that depersonalizes it, but it is all focused on the patient. So with that, you've heard a lot of things where we're talking about scale, analytics, difficulty. I'll leave you this one comment that's on our foundation's website. Impossible things are just possible things that haven't been done yet. We need to look at things differently the way we do it, and things will progress. And if you assemble the right minds, the right analytics, the right data, cross-check, really great things could happen. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll turn it back to Janet. And thanks very much to the BPC and for all the work that you guys did on the report.